Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to the channel. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, I'm just taking a little bit of a walk. I wanted to talk a little bit about something I experienced last night, which was really, really interesting. And it kind of plays into the idea of doing uncomfortable things consistently recalibrates your body for that uncomfortableness. And I think last night was a really interesting case for this because, since I started the YouTube channel, which was July of last year, and I was doing these kind of routines maybe 3 or 4 months before that, my body would consistently, well, it's not your body, it's your mind. My mind would consistently tell me, you've had enough, stop. You get to 100 burpees, you've had enough, stop. And as you know, you've still got more in the tank, right? As soon as your mind starts telling you that, you know there's a lot more you can do. You know your body can handle more as long as you're not injuring yourself. But one thing I found incredibly interesting was last night, I've been doing a lot of these more endurance-based routines where at nighttime, once the kids have gone to bed, everyone's asleep and my wife is relaxing and she's done for the day. That's when I do these. And they generally run to about probably 10 p.m. at night, most nights. And as I've been doing these, I hadn't really noticed this, but they've been hard routines. They've not been the most intense you could possibly have, because I think when you're doing an hour-long routine, it's really hard to make that intense for the full 60 minutes. So my goal has been to just maintain a consistent pace while still getting a lot done, but not destroying myself, because it's all been about training for the burpee mile. So my goal has been to get my body used to working for 60 minutes or 90 minutes, because inevitably for the burpee mile, that's what I'm going to have to do. It's going to have to be probably 2.5, 3 hours. Hold on one second. It's a little windy. But one thing that really struck me last night was I was doing a high rep calisthenics routine that was Iron Wolf inspired. So you're talking about a ton of reps, right? We did 500 burpees and 750 push-ups. So 250 6 counts and 250 8 counts. So that's a huge number, right? Historically, my body, when you get about 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes in, my mind is telling me, you need to stop. You're tired, your arms are tired, blah, 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 blah. And sometimes it creeps into your mind of what you need to do the next day and how tired you're going to be, and you start to try and anticipate your tiredness, which has always been a bit of a challenge for me because I do lead quite a busy life. I'm up at 5 a.m. most mornings, and I'm dealing with the kids, work, blah, 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 blah. So the idea of being exhausted the next day does cross my mind when I'm doing these exercises. But the reality is, when you wake up in the morning, I generally feel okay. So it's a false narrative that your mind's putting you through. But last night, all I could think about was hitting the goal that I had set for myself. And quietly inside, I had set myself a goal of doing 10 rounds, which is what I eventually did. But, there were parts of me that questioned that because it's a lot. But I was solely focused on hitting that goal. And not once in that routine, God, there's some animals making some crazy noises over there. But not once in the routine last night did I say to myself, you need to stop, you're hurt, things you've got to do tomorrow, blah, 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 blah. And it really struck me because I feel like my body has recalibrated itself. It's recalibrated itself from what is generally uncomfortable to what is now fairly comfortable. And I'm not trying to say that the routine I did last night was easy. It was far from easy. Nobody, not a single person, can say that when you do 500 burpees, it includes 750 push-ups, and that's easy. There's always going to be a challenge. But it's your mental strength as you go through that, which is what I was kind of blown away about last night. Halfway through the video, I kind of stopped and I was like, hang on a second. I still want to continue doing this. So it is shown to me that this style of training, this recalibration of what's comfortable to what's uncomfortable, it works. And last night was the perfect example of that. Because last night, the kind of routine that I did last night, it's not a routine that normal people do. It's not a routine that normal people go out to do or aim to do. It's something that someone does every once in a while. Whereas in the last 2 weeks, that style of routine I've been doing pretty much daily. So, honestly, for me, it really just goes to show that the training that I'm doing is working. And it's not just working on my body, it's working on my mind. And that's what I care about most. I'm not doing this to look like a supermodel. Well, supermodel. Are men supermodels? I don't give a shit about body physique. None of that. I care about what it's doing for my mental toughness. And I care about the muscle endurance and the functionality that it's bringing. That's what I care about. And last night was proof of that. And it blew me away. Because I think when you do this style of training, it's hard to see where the improvements hit, because we do this so often. And high rep routines, I mean, look at what, I'm going to use Max Busy Dad as an example here. Look at the kind of stuff that he does, right? 20 minutes all out, intense, crazy. Where 1 or 2 reps is the difference. He's always aiming for that 300. But if he gets to 298, that's a disappointment. But he gets to 302, that is a gigantic feat. Like, those are the types of improvements that we see in this style of training. Because those 1 or 2 reps just make the world a difference for stuff like this. So it's very difficult, unless you have a structured routine like Max, to see where these improvements come from. As you guys know, I don't really structure my routines too much. I come up with a lot of them on the fly. But last night, being able to see where the improvements are, see the benefits of the style of training that I'm doing, putting my body through hell every single day and seeing the benefits. Oh boy, did that feel good. What an incredible feeling that is. And the thing is, it spurred me on, because the other thing that's really important is I've banked that in the muscle bank, in the muscle memory bank. Now when I next do that, I know that my body's capable of doing it. This is kind of how I felt when I did the 1300 burpees. When I did the 1300 burpees, you've banked that in the muscle bank. There is no way moving forward that you can't achieve that again, because you've already done it. Your body's already done it. Your body's already seen what that feels like, what that is. And I'll use an example. It's the 4-minute mile. I think it's the 4-minute mile. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but for years, for decades, nobody thought it was possible. I don't know. I don't know the numbers exactly. I'll look them up and post a comment, but I think it was the 4-minute mile. But for decades, nobody thought it was possible. And then one person did it. One person achieved that. And then all of a sudden, the mentality around the 4-minute mile changed, and lots of people started doing it. That's very similar to what's going on here. And it's remarkable because that's mind power. That tells you that the physicality is there, but it's all about whether you want to do it through your mind. And again, this is where I bring up examples like Tone and James. These guys who are pretty much on the world records for burpees in a certain amount of time. Physically, they're there, obviously, but it's mentally is where they're there. Because I know that I can do 500 burpees. I do it often. It's not a crazy number for me anymore. But the ability to do that in the times that they do it, that's mind. That is strength in your head. And that is rare. And it's something that takes a very long time to build up. God, I'd love to know what that noise is. It sounds like an animal in distress. So last night, anyway, I'm rambling now, but last night was a fantastic example of my mental strength, how far I've come since I started this, and I have recalibrated what is now uncomfortable for me. And I think it's a brilliant way to look at things, and I'm going to be pushing this even further. All of this is training for the burpee mile, and the burpee mile is going to be absolutely brutal. It's going to be the most difficult challenge that I've ever done in my life. But I feel like I'm doing the right training for it, and I'm excited to complete it. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to record it. That is my next challenge, because I want to get as much of it on video as possible. But anyway, a little bit of rambling from me, guys. Cheers.